Every night, something important happens inside your brain, and most people never notice it. While you sleep, your brain switches into repair mode. Damaged cells are cleared, memory pathways are reinforced, and chemical balance is restored. But here's the problem. If your brain doesn't receive the right support before bedtime, this recovery process becomes incomplete. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to inform you. Because memory decline rarely happens all at once. It begins quietly. You forget where you placed your keys. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You read a paragraph and realize the information didn't stay with you. For many adults over 60, this happens night after night, not because the brain is failing, but because it isn't being properly nourished. What makes this even more important is that the brain does most of its cleanup and repair during sleep. During the day, it reacts to stress, conversations, and decisions. At night, it finally enters maintenance mode. This is when metabolic waste is cleared, neural connections are strengthened, and short-term memories are transferred into long-term storage. Sleep alone is not enough. Without the right nutrients, the brain cannot complete this process efficiently. Doctors increasingly recognize that nighttime nutrition plays a major role in long-term cognitive health. During sleep, the brain depends on stable glucose levels, antioxidants, and specific micronutrients to protect neurons from inflammation and oxidative stress. When these elements are missing, damage continues silently. The good news is that supporting your brain doesn't require expensive supplements or complicated protocols. Some of the most effective tools are simple fruits you can find in any grocery store and may already have at home: bananas, apples, oranges. Three familiar fruits that, when eaten at the right time, can support memory, focus, and mental clarity while you sleep. Let's start with bananas. The aging brain is not broken. It is often undersupplied. Bananas provide a powerful combination of nutrients that support overnight brain recovery, especially when consumed in the evening. They are rich in vitamin B6, which the brain uses to produce neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. These chemicals influence mood, but more importantly, they are essential for learning, memory formation, and mental clarity. As we age, production of these neurotransmitters slows, making memory feel less reliable, especially after a poor night's sleep. Bananas help replenish this supply. They also contain magnesium, a mineral that calms overactive neurons and supports deep, restorative sleep. Deep sleep is when the brain decides what information to keep, strengthens neural connections, and repairs cellular damage. This stage of sleep also affects how organized your thinking feels the next morning. When deep sleep is disrupted, people often wake up mentally scattered or emotionally flat. Nutrients like magnesium and B vitamins help stabilize this nighttime process, allowing the brain to wake up clearer and more focused. Another key compound in bananas is tryptophan. This amino acid supports the production of serotonin and melatonin, two substances essential for sleep quality and nighttime brain repair. Melatonin also stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that supports neuron survival and growth. In simple terms, bananas help create the internal conditions your brain needs to repair itself, not just rest. Many people notice that eating a small ripe banana about 45 to 60 minutes before bed leads to deeper sleep and sharper thinking in the morning. For older adults, even small improvements in clarity can support independence and confidence. For best results, choose a ripe banana with a few brown spots. Ripening increases the availability of magnesium and tryptophan. If blood sugar is a concern, pairing the banana with a few nuts can slow absorption. Now let's talk about apples. If bananas refuel the brain, apples help clean it. Apples are rich in antioxidants, including polyphenols and flavonoids that protect brain tissue from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages neurons, disrupts communication between brain cells, and accelerates age-related cognitive decline. One of the most powerful compounds in apples is quercetin, concentrated in the peel. Quercetin helps reduce inflammation in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, and supports long-term cognitive resilience. Apples also contain soluble fiber, especially pectin, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria produce compounds that communicate directly with the brain, reducing inflammation and supporting memory formation. This gut-brain connection becomes more important with age as digestion slows and nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. Eating apples in the evening supports both systems. It nourishes the gut and strengthens the brain at the same time. Apples also improve cerebral blood flow, ensuring neurons receive enough oxygen and nutrients during the night when memory consolidation is most active. Timing matters. Apples are best eaten earlier in the evening, about 1.5 to 2 hours before sleep. This allows antioxidants to circulate and fiber to begin fermentation. Choose apples with red or dark skin and avoid peeling them. Most brain protective compounds are found in the skin. Now let's move to oranges. The brain doesn't just slow with age, it accumulates waste. Every thought and memory produces metabolic byproducts that must be cleared. Oranges help support this process. Oranges are one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C, a nutrient your brain depends on but cannot store. Even one night of low vitamin C intake can leave neurons more vulnerable to oxidative damage. Vitamin C is essential for producing neurotransmitters such as dopamine and norepinephrine, which support alertness, focus, and motivation. It also strengthens the blood-brain barrier, a protective filter that becomes more fragile with age. When this barrier weakens, the brain becomes more sensitive to stress, toxins, and inflammatory signals. This can show up as increased forgetfulness, irritability, or mental fatigue. Vitamin C helps preserve this protective system. Oranges also contain hesperidin, a flavonoid that improves blood flow to the brain and supports nighttime waste clearance. During sleep, the brain activates its glymphatic system, which flushes out harmful proteins associated with cognitive decline. Proper circulation makes this process more effective. For best results, choose fresh whole oranges instead of juice. The fiber slows sugar absorption and improves nutrient delivery. Eat half to one orange about 90 minutes before bed. Leave some of the white pith intact, as it contains beneficial flavonoids. Now let's bring everything together into a simple routine. The brain responds best to consistency. Rather than eating all three fruits at once, spread them across the early evening. About 2 hours before bed, enjoy half an orange. Around 90 minutes before sleep, eat half to one apple. About 45 to 60 minutes before bed, finish with a small ripe banana. This sequence supports neurotransmitter production, reduces inflammation, protects neurons, and enhances overnight memory consolidation. Avoid combining these fruits with heavy meals, caffeine, or late-night dairy, which can interfere with sleep chemistry and nutrient absorption. This is not a dessert, it is nourishment. Simple, predictable, and effective. If memory feels less reliable lately, that does not mean you are losing yourself. It often means your brain needs better nighttime support. You're not broken. You're not powerless. Small, consistent habits can make a meaningful difference over time. Memory is not just about recalling facts. It is about staying connected to your life, your routines, and the people you care about. And sometimes, protecting that begins with something as simple as choosing the right fruit at the right time. Thank you for spending this time learning about your brain. If this video gave you a new perspective or a simple habit to try tonight, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit. Consistency starts with one small step, and your brain is worth that effort. This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your diet or health routine, especially if you have medical conditions or take prescription medications.